Hi, I'm Roman and this is Massive Voodoo TV. Faster than you think, you will become an instinct painter instead of a recipe painter. Today I welcome you to the second part of the masterclass series Color Theory. This series is not just only for watching and sleeping in front of your television or something. No, it's actually something that you have to do on your wet palette to learn most out of it. I can only recommend to you, do it with a brush in hand. Alright, it will be a long lesson overall. There will be like 6 to 7 or even 8 parts of this lesson. Don't miss out on the first one that we did recently. You will not understand the second and third and the upcoming parts without going through the first lesson. That's what we did so far.
The first lesson explained to you the basics of the color wheel, how to use primary colors, secondary colors, tertiary colors, how to not to fear mixing colors. We also talked about the history of colors, starting from pigments and going on. Speaking about our different hobby paints, the different variations of paints you can buy, and about their use. And you learned how to mix a neutral gray out of your primary colors and how to use it. Do not miss this one.
You can find links below. Alright, the updates on this series takes me quite a long time. I can only recommend to you to subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for the great feedback I received for the first lesson, and the commentaries were really beautiful. You asked wonderful questions. A lot of you did their homework. This is beautiful. Keep in mind, do this homework all over the series because there's something special coming at you. You can enter your homework at the end of this series and I will confirm them. I will check back with your homework, with all the different homeworks you have to do during these lessons, and then I confirm that you achieved your Massive Voodoo Roman Lappat Color Theory diploma. This sounds motivating, right? Okay, that's the plan. All right.
Black, white and gray that is mixed from it. Let's get back to our wet palette. There is a worksheet part 2 downloadable via the link in the description. Every time you have to use it for your homework, I will tell it to you. The result of the first video is still on my wet palette, and now we talk about black, white and gray. This is outside of your color wheel. They're not included in your color wheel. In the first video I spoke about the bank of colors and thieves. In the first video you also got to know the first thief, which is more like a very soft thief with a clown mask and toy gun. It was the neutral gray mixed from primaries. Now we will speak about more aggressive thieves, very well organized thieves who want to steal color from the bank of color. Place a drop of white, a drop of black on your wet palette. Black and white are the most aggressive color thieves. They quickly change a very saturated color from your bank of colors, from your color wheel. Both also change the hue, the value of the color very fast and very strong, very intense. I will show you this example with the green over here. The green right now is saturated. A good teacher repeats lessons. That's why I show you how the green changes by the use of the neutral gray that we mixed from primaries. Have a look. By adding black or white, it loses its saturation and also changes its hue and value. The change is subtle, but very obvious if you look close. The change with the neutral gray is much softer and black is more aggressive. You can test this also with different colors. Give it a try. White is doing the same. Let's have a look on white. Most of the color information gets lost rather quickly the more black and white come into play. Mix a gray that's kind of in the middle of its darkness and brightness, of its hue. This is also a so-called neutral gray. In fact, it is a neutral gray because it's in the middle of black and white. It has nothing in common like the one that you mixed from your primaries in part 1 of the series. But it's very often the one that you can buy from our hobby paints. They call it neutral gray, and it's a gray that's actually in the middle between black and white. Have a close look and see how the neutral gray from your color wheel changes the color differently compared to what black, white and also the middle gray is doing to your color. There's a subtle difference, but it's a very important difference if you want to learn how to analyze and read colors later on. Remember, black and white, and therefore also the gray you mix from it, are beasts. They change the color really quickly. By the time you will learn not to use a too high amount of these because they are so aggressive. Alright, now repeat this on your worksheet paper. Find the instruction here. Next, we will talk about complementary colors. You might have heard this in art lessons in school, you might have heard this on other YouTube videos, but very often you just heard it and did not do much with it. In this lesson, I will tell you differently. I will first show you how to understand the basics of the principle of complementary colors. And then I will show you how you can use your complementary colors for mixing your own paints. Basically speaking, we have 3 pairs of complementary colors. It's always a primary color and a secondary color. Let me explain some things to you. You can find the complementary colors already in your color wheel. Complementary to green is magenta or red. Complementary to yellow is purple. And complementary to orange is blue. They are in the opposite corners of your color wheel. These colors complement each other. They build harmony together if you use them together. They yell for attention if you use them as a pair. You can often find these in full saturation in advertisement and marketing. If you placed your primaries, secondaries and tertiary colors like described in all the videos, you will find it easy to spot your complementary colors. Quick side note before we go back to color theory and practical use of it is how to use complementary colors in your miniatures. I recommend not always using them in full saturation. It's interesting if you keep one of the pair like desaturated. That makes it more interesting, more readable and more calm, but still works on the harmony part. Don't use all of them in one project. This is very hard to tackle. I rather recommend using 1, maximum 2 for small details. Decide for different areas or amounts where you place them. For example, a full figure could be purple but with yellow glowing eyes. This is actually why we enjoy sunrises and sunsets so much, because this is full color theory harmony on a big screen where all the complementary colors happen. Here are some examples of miniatures showing the different use of complementary colors. Maybe you can spot it. Have a look. fair, I'm not using yellow and purple very often. I have to do this more. As you individually realized, this is deeply connected to our perception. When complementary colors travel to each other, they have to cross the area of the neutral gray, the Bermuda Triangle of gray. So far we learned that almost all the colors except the neutral gray in your color wheel are saturated, have a lot of kamehameha saturation. Just the neutral gray in the middle, in the triangle, in the middle of your color wheel, in the center, can stop that, can change the saturation. So as long as you travel around your color wheel, you will stay saturated. But if you cross and travel through it, like the complementary colors do, if you mix them to each other, you will see that actually what's happening is your secondary color is already a mix from two primaries, and now we kind of recreate another neutral gray, but with a different mixture, with a different amount of paints. Means if you add a complementary color to its partner, to its complementary color, you will kind of move the color inside the triangle of the color desaturation of the neutral gray. This is why you can use a complementary color to desaturate its complementary color. Sounds complicated, but just watch me doing it. To make this all easier to understand for you, check back with your worksheet and do the training that is listed there about complementary colors. Now to the real interesting part. With all the knowledge you gathered so far and the training, you're now able to start learning to read colors and to remix them by just using your primaries and all the tools you got at your hand. I will explain to you how you can remix your own skin tone from everything that is on your wet palette right now. The first thing that is important is to check back with your skin. Skin is full of varieties, has different tonalities. You should find an area on your hand that is kind of similar. I often use the area between thumb and the next finger because it's very similar there. I'm painting a blue circle and decide that this in the circle is the color I want to remix. Alright, just follow my lead. The first important question you have to ask yourself is, which color family out of my color wheel is my skin tone coming from? Is it violet? Is it yellow? Is it neutral gray? Is it red? Is it magenta? Is it orange? Is it blue? Is it cyan? I would say my skin tone in this case is based on orange. So I'm taking some orange and place it beside the blue circle. And then I have to think and read the color. Right now it doesn't match. It does not match because it's too saturated. So I have to desaturate it. I have 3 different ways how to desaturate the color. I can use my neutral gray. I can use black and white and gray from there. Or I can use a complementary colors. 3 different ways. Give it a try. Each way should lead to something and has small differences. A small tip, start with the neutral gray from your color wheel and you will have an easy approach to find your skin tone. I will use cyan, the complementary color to orange in this case. With a little bit more desaturation, it looks quite okayish. Maybe a little too dark, so I have to brighten it up. Simple as it is, I will use some white to brighten it up. Now I'm missing a little bit of red, and a tiny drop of red will make it more alive. Of course, this experience might vary, just depending, as I'm very well trained and experienced. This goes rather fast and smooth. But my tip is, if you're doing this for the first time, is keep an eye out on the small amounts that you start mixing in. Also mix in a line, like mix in a transition, so you can always check back where you maybe did a mistake or something. Don't aim for a 100% match. Be happy if it's getting close at the first time. This is almost my skin tone. I can play a little bit, for example, if I need a little bit more middle gray or something black and white, you can add something of that, or some more neutral gray. You can play around. You can even conquer the red with some green as the complementary color. But keep in mind, it should always be tiny amounts. And boom, 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 boom. There you go with my skin tone. Right, enjoy. That's a lot of fun and a big learning curve. You might ask yourself what you now do with the skill of reading, analyzing and remixing colors. I will show you in the next part, in part 3 of this series, how you can extract colors from a full picture, how you can train this actually, and also how you completely will stop painting from recipes, but rather using the color that's at the miniature as your recipe. You will be always able to remix whatever you need.
All right. Thank you very much for pressing thumbs up, and
a pleasure to have you with me on this journey. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a modern miniature painter. Don't forget to press thumbs up, and thanks for enjoying our content. Thank you for your patience.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up.
all right.